Welcome back to my triumphant return to the series of Bastion. I believe I have played this game up until right where I left off, which was the Hammer Proving Grounds. Now, I'm not the same level, I don't have quite the same upgrades, so things will be a little bit different, because I just tried to play through it as quickly as possible so I could get back into doing this. I've been pretty busy, so forgive me for taking a little time. Now, this Proving Ground is one of the harder ones in the game, in my opinion. What you have to do is you have to break 100 objects, and you have to do it in a very short amount of time. You have to do it in 27 seconds to get first place. Now, the way the hammer works is that it does more damage if you're standing still and then attacking. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm going up to the objects, stopping, and then hitting them. And that's taking a little bit of time. Yeah, I'm not going to get this one, but maybe I'll get third place at least, just for a consolation prize. The other thing you can do is you can barrel roll through the barrels. It's not actually called a barrel roll, but I was just looking at a barrel when I said that. You can roll through things and break them if they're little enough, like these pots and these little peggy post type of things. Yeah, I got third place. I think second place is 30 seconds and first place is 27 seconds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Bastion, actually upgrade the hammer, and then that should make this a lot easier. So right now I picked up some upgrades like plus 50% damage and another plus 50% damage and something else. And what I'm going to do is try not to take as much time hitting each individual object. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of the evasive rolls because that kills a lot of the little objects quickly. And I'm going to be sacrificing the whole powered up attacks when you're standing still and then you hit the thing, because it just did not do it fast enough. But there we are. First prize. So we're going to get the stunning wallop. That's what it was. And move on to the next level. So I think we've covered about half of the Proving Grounds right now, and a lot of them after this are pretty easy. But for now, Pythor Charred. An interesting level. It's a pretty short one. What happens here is that we get introduced to the religious aspect of the game, I guess you could put it. We get introduced to the pantheon of the gods that were present in the world of Bastion. And first off, we go through Pyth, and I forgot to change out my weapons. Oh well, I'll stick with the war machete and the scrap musket. I was playing through this game so quickly that I basically just went with whatever weapons I had equipped at the time. So this is, I guess, what the default loadout is if you never change your weapons. Anyway, that bull right there is Pyth. And if you remember in the other Proving Grounds, Bullhead Court, that's the bull that they're naming the whole thing after. That is all over this game, really. If you look, there are doors with Pyth's head on them. He's kind of one of the major symbols of this game, I guess. And we picked up a little plushie, but now we're going to pick up the something course, which is the scrap musket upgrade item. Ah, yes, here's a little different Pyth. This one's angry. He sprays oil at you, and what you have to do is just hold down your shield, like so, until he stops spraying oil everywhere. Luckily, I have the scrap musket, which is decent at this kind of range, but I don't have very many upgrades for it in terms of damage, and I don't have exactly the right upgrades for taking out one target like this. I'm going to try and use my grenades. Obviously, that didn't work. It flew right off the edge. He's pretty hurt. I'll just kill him right now. Alright, and yeah, he drops a lot of goodies. So here's a cool structure, the shrine. All these things make the game harder, if I remember correctly anyway. And when you invoke the Shrine of Pyth, or the Idol of Pyth, I should say, at the shrine, you get harder enemies that are faster and deal more damage. And I have really terrible equipment for dealing with this, but I'm going to do my best to try and get through this section without dying. I think you get 2 extra lives or something like that, but I will hope to not have to use any of them. Yes, all of their animations are faster, so they move faster, they attack faster, everything's tougher. The turrets are the same, but the little squirties and the windbags and the gas fellas, all the people you really care about, they're the ones who get tougher. And there are lots more idols than just what you get with Pyth. There are probably 16 or so, I don't really remember. And each of them does something really interesting. Some of them will make the enemies reflect damage back onto you if you don't hit them correctly, and you can activate as many of these things at any given time. So the more you have going, the harder the game gets. And as I pick up these idols, I will probably invoke them just because I've played this game enough to where I feel like I can stand a decent shot at taking on a little bit of a higher difficulty. Plus, the cool thing is that you get more monies for invoking idols, and you get more experience too, if I remember correctly. And sometimes you get more money than you get experience bonuses. Sometimes you get more experience than you get money. It just kind of depends on which idol is doing what for you. And I do believe that is all for this level. Yes, you can see Pyth's head right up there. Let us get out of here. Told you it was short. And now we can go ahead and build our own shrine, but first I'm going to go and get the hammer and bow, my standby weapons, and also I'm going to probably pick up the mirror shield here. Yeah, I don't really see anything I like too much in the early times. I actually, in general, am not really a big fan of any of the special attacks that I've picked up in this game at any point. So now we get a new friend here at the Bastion. We get our very own Steam Bull. He doesn't do a whole lot, just like the Squirt over there. But, you know, they have a role later in the game, we'll say. As for now, what you can do is you can just run up to them and make them kind of make little sound effects and do little animations, but they don't do anything of actual utility. So I'm going to upgrade the Breaker's Bow because I haven't yet. Just do my usual stuff, more damage, more draw speed, and we're going to go on to the river level. Yes, this is a pretty cool level because this marks a dramatic shift in the game. If you've noticed, we went from a whole bunch of city places, we went through the center of the city, we went through the battlements of the city, we just went through an orchard, and now we are actually completely done with the city entirely in this game, unless there's another return level, but I don't remember that happening. Anyway, from this point onward to the foreseeable future, we're going to be in the wilderness. So we get to kind of see, instead of just what the city was like, we get to see the entire world and how it was affected by the calamity. Now, this is really neat because this is still kind of like a river boat thing going on here, but obviously, since the apocalypse happened, it's not really a river anymore. But there's still some sort of flowing water aspect to it. I don't know, I've never quite understood the physics behind this section, but it's just really neat. Anyway, what we see a lot of in the wilderness levels is the animals and I guess even the plants, how they adapted to the calamity and how just kind of the greater wilderness survives. As a personal challenge here, I'm going to try and keep the statue alive for as long as possible. Luckily, I kind of know where everything's going to pop up, especially the turrets, and I have enough damage upgrades on my bow to where I don't need to do power shots. I can just kind of aim generally where I think things are going to be, and I should be able to get them. Like that. Yeah, I didn't have to aim specifically at it. I just kind of sensed that it was going to be there. Okay, I have to make sure that I don't do any evasive rolls, because if I do an evasive roll, I'll blow right through the statue, most likely. And I will kill him. And, you know, this little arena, why not just have like a little bit more extra fun challenges going on here? One thing that's really interesting is that you saw at the beginning of this level how everyone is kind of looking for a core. And this comes up more and more as we progress through the game, is that the cores have mysterious powers, which is something we saw earlier when we were on the sunset walkie thing. Oh, geez, I almost got the statue there. That would have been awful. I would have had to start over. Nah, not really. But as I was saying, you saw it earlier where all of the enemies were gathered around the core, but they couldn't get to it because all the people were gathered around the core. Pretty weird. And you'll see here that they are also breaking open boxes. Everyone's looking for the core. I don't think I need to change out any weapons, so let's just move onward and get the core for ourselves because it's right around the corner. Oh man. One thing I've always kind of wondered is what's the significance of these multicolored tiles, because you often see them associated with the city and with cores. But you also saw them in the very first level when we got to the sky bridge, when we got to the thing that sent us actually to the Bastion in the first place. So I think that maybe those tiles just kind of signify, hey, you've reached an important goal, you've reached the end of the level, or something to that effect. Because you really don't see them all that often, and it's only in these Bastion core specific contexts that you see those tiles. So, as you may have noticed, we now have little birdies that we get to deal with. Thankfully, you get these two little turrets that shoot flames to help defend the barge from the little birdies. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can keep the turrets alive as well, because, you know what, if I'm keeping the statue alive, I might as well protect the turrets too. Just try to eliminate any dependency on the game making it easier for me, I guess. I did realize that without the shrine being built at the Bastion, I can't actually activate any of the idols for now, but that's okay. I guess I'll have to deal with it being on a vanilla difficulty or something. You'll have to forgive me, I guess. Okay, those are homing turrets, so I'm going to kill them quick. Oh, geez, one got off. Don't hit me. I have to deal with all these birds, though. Gameplay speaking, the birds kind of fulfill the same role as the squirts, but they can move across the terrain in a slightly different way because they have the ability to fly. That being said, just deal with them in the same ways you dealt with any of the squirts in the game, and you should be just fine. Oh, I thought I could walk on that barge. Interesting. I mean, there were potions right there. Oh well. Once that big guy gets a couple of hits off on the barge, things get a little bit crazy. I don't know if there's a way to kill that big guy before he can beat up the barge too much, but if there is, I guess I'll have to watch a different Let's Player for that. Oh, come on. I was so close to keeping him alive the entire time, but I guess I lost control at the very end there. I don't even know if that's really avoidable, but then you have to kill all these guys really quick, and they split off into little birdies. But we've beaten this level, so congratulations, me. And here the narrator will say something a little bit different based on how many times you fell off the barge. I fell off once, so I didn't get the best message you can possibly get, but I do believe that's where I'm gonna have to end this episode for today. Next time we'll take on the second half of this very interesting level.